It's a great pleasure to speak to you, to the future of this country. I was in your shoes in 50s. I deal with IT for 57 years, and still I am active. And if I would be asked to choose a profession, I would choose the same profession which I chose 57 years ago, which is IT. You may be not aware very much that we shape civilization. We are physicians of virtual civilization, global civilization. Physician is a metaphor. And maybe you as a student of early years, maybe not yet aware that you shape the civilizations. And the change is tremendous. We are moving toward labor-free economy, meaning economy without employed workers. And you, with your skills, will help this process to be implemented. Business-wise, this is good for business stockholders because in short term, it increases profit. In long term, it eliminates consumers. So you face this dilemma. And so far, when I was in your age, IT was like a science fiction. We never predicted the kind of internet networking. By the way, the inventor of the internet is my good friend, used to be a good friend, he passed away, born in Poland, Paul Baran from Rand Corporation in Santa Monica. He got the task in 1962 to develop communication networking day after. Why day after in 1962? What happened in 62? Cuban crisis. 100 tactical launches of atomic weapon and 10,000 Soviet advisors. So day after. So because the system was star-oriented, when you hit here, you break the communication. So he eventually developed packet switching network, which is a grid-oriented. You can bypass, like Manhattan. You can compare Paris, the circles, to Manhattan grid. You can bypass. So today, I'm active on Quora when I have 1 million readers. And they ask me mostly, in your age, being in your age, they very often don't ask their parents, maybe sometimes don't have parents, maybe parents are divorced. And they very honestly ask me what to do, particularly asking about data science, about what to study, what kind of IT, etc. So I am busy right now I traveled to Washington, I was in Honolulu, and I have maybe 2,000 unanswered questions. That's a big job ahead of me. So everybody speaks about data. But data is misleading. Data is just the beginning. We have to end up with wisdom. And particularly, because why? Wisdom is information. Data is information, wisdom. So I will begin. That's a semantic ladder. We have data. Data is measurement. Measuring unit of cognition. Let's say Dow Jones is 20,000. What is information? That's a little bit misleading, but everything has a information substance, but maybe I would say informing, but information. Information is about change. When Dow Jones today is 18,000, what is the change? Minus 2,000, minus 10%, right? You compare today with previous state, it's minus 2,000, which is minus 10%. That's a big change. So this is the change. And that change triggers conceptualization, what to do. You can sell because you are afraid that tomorrow stock will go down. You can buy because it's cheap, or you can do nothing, you can hold, right? So you have three concepts. When you have three concepts, you face the choice. If you date three friends and you plan to marry one of them, you have to make the choice, right? You cannot marry three friends. So we face the choice. So in other words, direction. In order to make the choice, we apply our knowledge and evaluate every option by our available knowledge. And what is knowledge? Knowledge is about rules, principles. For instance, buy low, sell high. That's first rule in finance, right? And there are plenty of such rules, but finance, not so many rules. Here I recognize personal, societal, domain, moral knowledge, and so on. So knowledge creates our awareness about our options. But I have still three options, and I know pluses and minuses of each option. So I have to make the choice. So the choice is the wisdom. Understand? The choice is the wisdom. Now let's go to enterprise-wide software like SAP. I used to teach capstone class for CIS 499 when we were designing enterprise-wide software, and I taught SAP by example. So we saw certain solutions in SAP but just to do better. For instance, SAP is designed and finishes at the level of information. SAP compares planned data with actual data, with actuality, right? Planned versus actual. And you have delta change, minus or plus, right? Then manager or user needs to find out what to do. That's the end. But we developed some more steps like artificial intelligence, and eventually we simulated some solutions and the choice. But choice is human. And choice, when you design information systems with IT, you should ask a person to make the final choice. This is like in steering an aircraft. When weather is bad, a pilot is obliged to control by hands, not by automated pilot. It was a very famous accident, Joliet, maybe before you were born, when 50 people crashed. What happened was very bad weather, and he was asked to go around O'Hara, and he put on the automated pilot, and the flaps were getting ice, so the automated pilot was somehow correcting, but eventually the flaps were too heavy and lost corrections, and aircraft was put down. So because pilot didn't feel the aircraft's behavior, right? Very often accidents in atomic power stations also, you see operators sitting in front of many monitors and do nothing. But that's very bad because he or she misses some very special situations like in Japan, that famous accident. So remember, don't remove final decision maker from information technology-driven system. Do you follow me here? So wisdom, when I selected option buy because it's low, buy more stocks because it's low, they are low. So when you buy, that's information. You go online and you buy stocks online, or you go to your broker and you speak and you say how much and so on, and that's information. Wisdom is information. Actually, we have 5 units of cognition: data, information, concept, knowledge, and wisdom. We cognize through those 5 units of cognition, not through data. Data is the beginning. And today, everybody speaks about data because data is easy to explain, database. So we know how to collect data. We know DB2, we know Oracle, we know other commercial database management systems, so we know what is data. It reminds me a little bit DSS in the low 80s when faculty from MIT developed a concept of decision support system. It was a very artificial concept and didn't survive. Say, in my judgment, within 5-10 years, data science will be replaced by cognition science. Particularly when we speak today a lot about machine learning. Machine learning is actually concluded by wisdom, by final decision which is made by a robot, right? A robot chooses the option that's exemplify its wisdom, actually developer's wisdom. So what is big data? This is huge data set. Huge data set. Oh, sorry. What is big wisdom? Could you read for me big wisdom?
Big wisdom is a collection of decisional cases supported by relevant big data, which include concepts given domain-oriented knowledge, principles, rules, laws, leading to a good judgment and choice, which is wisdom.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
You are a good reader.
Thank you.
That's the risk to sit in the first row. Thank you. I will skip this, but it shows that data is not enough. You have to conceptualize, you have to make choices, etc. But I will speak same thing with Google. But you may ask about minds. How many minds do you have? Did you bring today with you? One? You speak about brain. Mind is not a brain. Like software is not hardware, right? How many minds did you bring with you today? You have a big, nice head, so you can put a lot below.
I was thinking I came with one mind also, but
And look at you, I see 2, 3. So we have a steering mind, I didn't put here. Steering mind, which is the intermediary between brain and mind. This is like input-output infrastructure in computer. And you have basic mind, which you gain in your school, high school, when you learn about because here I don't see well, intuitive approach, communication, how to communicate, how to be practical, moral. Then you have whole mind, or I call it also reasoning mind, basic mind plus theoretical mind. At college, you learn that the earth is not flat, right? You travel, you drive the car, and everything is flat. But you know it's not flat. So we know theory. I always say that theory without practice is dry, and practice without theory is blind. But not enough to be practical. You have to be a little bit theoretical. That global mind, you are connected, you speak one foreign language, you traveled abroad, you extended your comprehension of your world view. This is like big data. Global mind means big data. Universal mind includes every mind before, but also includes international law, civil law, human law, human rights, civil rights, international law, and others. And believe it or not, when I was teaching at Western, I had several international students always in classroom from some countries when civil rights, human rights are not observed. You take it for granted in this country, but not everywhere in the world. I had to be very tactful and not, to discriminate those students. So that mind is like software. You have certain kinds of levels of application, and if you look at yourself, you have basic mind for sure, you have whole mind in making, and you have steering mind, so you have 2.5 minds. If you travel, if you speak foreign languages, maybe you have global mind. And you have universal mind from high school, from your families, from your upbringing, you have universal mind as well. Oh, I gave here Western. That's a long definition, but I'm looking for. Can you read this, please? This definition?
Wisdom is based on skillful judgment and choice driven by art, building
Louder.
toward the accomplishment of the purpose of one's life. For many, the art of living still and life's
Can be a puzzle.
I'm sorry?
Can be a puzzle.
Yeah. The key to this puzzle is the understanding and learning how to cope with the components and factors of wisdom.
Aristotle, who used to live 2,400 years ago, he said that only our soul is wise and people are stupid because they don't know the purpose of their life. If you don't know the purpose of your life, you make random decisions every day. Actually, in his times, the life lasted on average 24 years, with exception to some so-called sages. But the lifespan was 24 years, so the purpose of life was to survive to the next day, to not be killed or put in slavery. But anyhow, do you know your purpose of your life?
Someday, yeah.
Do you know? Good, very good. And you, sir, in third row, do you know purpose of your life?
I would like to. Oh.
You?
Yeah, I would like to think so sometime. Be happy.
Wrong. You know, happiness lasts 5 minutes. You cannot be happy whole life. You should have the positive balance of positive outcomes versus negative. Then you can mean, oh, I'm lucky. Maybe sometimes I'm happy, but to be happy, that's misleading all the time. I can, for instance, I developed some hierarchy. For the first level of purpose of life is to live in a peaceful environment. Second is to have a healthy life. Third, like you students, you look for a good life. Good life, the red convertible, good job, good partner, good house, a boat. Good life, nothing wrong. But after 10, 15, 20 years, you ask, what next? Next is meaningful life, to contribute, to save one person. If you save one person, you save the whole world. To be altruistic, and so on and so on. If you contributed, if you practice meaningful life, I would say the next stage is accomplished life. You look back and ask yourself, what I did accomplish? If you didn't yet accomplish, you put together your luggage and you try to accomplish something meaningful, something important, and leave the message. So that's the purpose of, maybe this is subjective, like, what? Art of living. This is very long, but be philosophical. To know, are you believer, unbeliever, or agnostic? Be moral and ethical, apply your values. And now, focus on essential matters. That's a big art of living. Not speaking about peripheral. That's a very typical today, even in our press everywhere. We hear a lot of chaos, a lot of peripheral issues. We don't speak about the core issues, substance. Then be reflective. Forget, remember, connect. Forget with something, let's say, has some bad memories with your parents, with your siblings, with your friends. Remember what is good and connect to current situation. Be altruistic. Do something for outside. Be patient. Be responsible. And communicate your solution. Have so-called talking points. So that's a summary of what I spoke. So wisdom, we have big data. Based on big data, we have concepts. Then judgment, we look for big knowledge. Then right choice, we look for big wisdom. And art of living, that's another filter, and we select solution. It includes our IQ, it includes our emotional Q. There's a lot of beyond. I have no time to speak too much about this. Anyhow, we need to create cognition container. Big data, big information, big concept, big knowledge, big wisdom. As a supportive of this, eventually we use. I develop also concept of digital mind, virtual mind, cosmic mind, and hybrid mind. You have digital mind. You are good in online searching and learning. You are good. You are better than your parents and me. And you are slaves of your device. Right? Addicted, unfortunately. Jean-Jacques Rousseau, do you remember who was Jean-Jacques Rousseau? Who remembers? Yes, please share.
My dad is an immigrant from Ireland, and he's a merchant marine, so we would watch Jacques Cousteau on PBS every Sunday, and he was a deep-sea diver and explore the seas and oceans.
Jean-Jacques Rousseau was a French philosopher contributing to first encyclopedia when he sold, when the encyclopedia was sold, he got some money with other co-authors. Actually, he was influential in American Revolution. He was impacting some American philosophers and leaders. He sold his watch. He said only poor people have watches. Think about it. I have a smartphone, and my number knows only my wife, nobody. And I am very careful in replying and using my smartphone, because I don't want to be a slave, addicted to a device. But you are good in digital mind, you are good in virtual mind, because you are on Facebook, right? You are on other social networks, and you can learn from others, and you can, if you like to learn, and you can share your cognition to others. So there's something new. The cosmic mind is when you travel beyond the Earth, you have to know what is going on elsewhere from NASA, but not everybody knows, but few people. And what is hybrid mind? Hybrid mind is developing, and University of Southern California right now, they would like to implant some sensors to our brain and connect with external computer and reading kind of electricity flowing through our brain and assuming that there is something about something, and supporting this by big data or by Watson kind of machine. Unfortunately, it is coming, and some people say this is new, it will kill our race, it will develop new race of humans. Ray Kurzweil is a famous American futurologist who said that computers will compute faster than human mind about 2025, and it will be beginning of our new singularity. Singularity is the beginning of the world. It will be beginning of new spaces. And you will be living through 2025, and you will be facing, according to Kurzweil, competition from cyborgs with better, faster, I'm not saying better, faster thinker hybrid. That's very unethical. I discussed through certain publication with him, and he said that stopping this, it will stop the scientific progress. In my judgment, we cannot be stupid. According to Isaac Asimov, remember Isaac Asimov, I, Robot? He developed 3 laws of robotics. First law says, don't design a robot which can kill you. And why we should design a machine which eventually will kill me. Already, I would say we develop capitalism which is spying on us, surveillance. Look what is Facebook doing. This is spying on us, the profiling. Profiling used to be forbidden in this country. But right now, everybody is profiling. I published a book how IBM punch card machines contributed to killing 4 million people during World War II. I sent that book to Rosenberg and say, what are you doing? You should be very careful because it touched your nation. Not only the Jews, but also Poles and Western Europeans like French, Italians, and Greeks due to IBM punch card machines. The addresses, the number, and so on. And today, Facebook plays the tremendous platform for any kind of espionage and profiling. You know what I'm talking, right? I always tell my students, I used to tell, if you'd like to get a job, remove your presence on Facebook. Because your future employer will look at your Facebook. Did you get my message? Be wise. So, wisdom, we have data, information, concept, knowledge, and everywhere we use wisdom, mind power, logos, mythos. That philosophy, right? And this is my solar cloud model of wisdom, judgment, choice, complexity. The seeds of wisdom. So what is big cognition container? This is structured cognition, like DB2, like Oracle database, and unstructured cognition, like the newspaper articles, interviews, videos, and so on, mostly through HTTP websites, etc., and also internal and external. There's a lot of work to do so. For instance, example, problem category, sustainable civilization, data section, statistics of sustainable solutions, information slice, dynamics of changes in the progress of sustainability, concept segment, energy efficient housing, knowledge area, renewable energy, wisdom seeds, hybrid of solar and traditional energy. So we can categorize those units of cognition and eventually select rightly substance. Another case. So this is ERP, you know what is ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning, Supply Chain Management, Customer Relations Management, Computer-Aided Design, Enterprise Database, Big Data, and Big Wisdom, Computer-Aided Manufacturing, Big Data external, and Big Wisdom external. Then you have the dashboards, an executive information system. So big data without big wisdom is very limited. It is like arithmetics without algebra and higher mathematics. Here is how we can develop wise society and certain categories, and we need both Big Data and Big Wisdom. These are my books. If you'd like to, I would recommend you this book. It's written in easy language. This is in Polish. This is in Italian. This book is for Cambridge scholars. It is. I have to submit manuscript in May. So if you look at Amazon book, you can find out. If you would like to study wisdom, look at this. This first book. Or maybe I will submit to Professor Wible electronic format, and you will submit to everybody. Okay? Would you like to be wise? Wisdom is not smartness. Intelligence, you can be intelligent but not wise. What is intelligence? Intelligence is the ability to solve problems. But ability doesn't mean that you make good choices. For instance, I know one Polish tennis player who has tremendous ability for good tennis, but stupid in playing on points. Once he was in semis of Wimbledon, but he couldn't repeat because he is not wise enough, very able. Please remember, it's not enough to be intelligent. There are thousands of intelligent people. You have to be hardworking and wise. In order to be wise, you have to know what is wisdom. Good judgment and good choice. I have a question for you. What is a tomato?
What is a tomato?
Yes.
A fruit?
Yes, veg fruit. Mm-hmm. Very good. Tomato is veg fruit, not table, not water. That knowledge. Will you put that fresh fruit to American fruit salad?
I would.
Would you? No, that's wisdom. That's wisdom. Choice. Simple. I have a question for you. Is water good for life? You didn't drink 7 days. You approach Kalamazoo River and you see water. And you see a group of cows standing in that water. 27 cows. No, sorry, 26. Will you drink upstream or downstream?
Upstream.
Upstream, that's wisdom, right? I have a question for you. It's a very bad weather like today, the windy. We are waiting for a big blizzard. And you drive the car full of boxes, and you have only one empty seat. And you see at the bus stop 3 people. One old lady who is just about to go to hospital, very sick looking. You see a person of your dreams. And you see a friend who saved your life in the past. And you stopped with one seat. who will you invite to your car?
Between my friend and the elder.
I have one seat.
The elder.
Who?
The elder.
No. That's no. You will ask your friend who saved your life to drive the car with the sick person to the hospital, and you will stay with a person of your dreams. Is it wisdom? Choices.
Kind of like, I don't know if you heard of get the chickens over the river when you got a coyote on one side and you want to fit one chicken on the thing, how you get over. I should have thought deeper.
Choice.
Yeah.
Wisdom is good judgment and choice. When you risk to stay with your person of your dreams, it was your choice, right? But you satisfy almost everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess that I should finish with this and maybe discussion, questions.
Let's clap first.
Thank you. You are nice.